So I'm removing my 46RE to do an 8HP70 swap to go with my Hemi swap, because I did crack the bell housing on the 46RE in accident because we're going to manufacture motor mounts, so we kept lifting up the engine down and down just to test motor mounts, and the bell housing didn't like that, so a corner of it cracked. So I said, well, might as well do an 8-speed, right? So 8HP70. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna take it off. I already took the drive shaft off, right there. So I'm just gonna take this end off, because it right there, if you see, it's gonna miss this cross member. If I don't take it off, it'll hit. It's just gonna be harder for me to come straight down. So I'm gonna take that off to be able to come straight down. I'm gonna do it. I took off the drive shaft here on the transfer case. So I'm gonna try to do it all in one. It's training transfer case. So I got these bolts left on this side, and then the mount bolts, and hopefully we can get it out real quick. I already disconnected the motor side mounts, the bell housing to the motor. So really all I got is those bolts, and then just these right here. And then I should be able to drop it. So I'm just gonna take those bolts right there, those 4. Those are pretty easy to get to, because I don't want to disconnect this while it's inside the car, because it seems like it's really hard to get to. So give you more info on when. The other thing is I want to be able to test fit this. Let me see where that tag is. Mine is an NP, I don't know if you guys can see that, an NP 244, right? So it's all-wheel drive unit. So I'm going to see if I can reuse it, but I'll probably take it apart because it has a little bit of a leak there. You guys can see it right there. So take it apart, reseal it, just the half. I don't know, maybe I'll rebuild it, but that's the plan. I want to pause the video right here. I did lose a video explaining what's happening right now. Okay, so in order to make up the 8-speed to the Durango all-wheel drive transfer case, the np244 transfer case, you have to use these bushings that are on this plate. Okay, so they're long bushings. I cut them in half. So what it is the transfer case itself has studs that come out of it that go through holes that are on the transmission. Okay, the transmission holes are a lot bigger than what the stud width is. Okay, as far as the stud diameter. So you have to put these bushings inside the transmission holes so that there is no play when you install it. So these bushings, the outer diameter of those bushings are 1/2 inch. Inner diameter is 3/8. Okay. If you can get some millimeter ones to fit the studs, that'd be better. But I couldn't find any. So I cut them in half, and then I'll explain what I did there. But that's so that everything can line up tight and there's no shifting or moving of the transfer case once you install it. So that's what those bushings are for. Okay, so I had to drill out the hole to fit these bushings, and so that now everything's going to fit tight. So when the bolt goes through the bushing, it is snug. There is no play or looseness in it. And you'll see as I roll this video. Okay, so these are the pieces I cut in half to slit them. So what I did is I stuck them, I deburred them inside and out. And I stuck them in the freezer to see if I can get them to shrink so they can slide in easy. And there you go. Before, they had a little rough time going in. And then I'm just going to stick them in each hole. But now that they're frozen, they're shrunken down enough, the metal shrinks enough to slide in.
And then when it gets warm, it'll expand and then get tight. And then I don't want any of this sticking out. I want it recessed back in. I'll get those recessed a little bit better. So if we take this little 3/8 bolt, now it doesn't have the same up and down travel, right? So it's gonna fit a ton better. Before it was real sloppy, so it couldn't fit. So now I'll be able to align it. So I'm gonna get the transfer case, and then I'm gonna slip it on. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that right now. I'm gonna sit you over here. So also something else I wanted to mention too is I try to use the 1/2 inch right away, and it just bound up, and I was like, oh nope. I thought it was going to be, the hole's going to be big enough to use it, but no, I went down to the next sides, which was 31/64. I used that, went through, then I used the 1/2 inch because I found it was going to bound up, and I didn't want to crack these tabs off here. So so that's what I did. Let's try to put this on now. Let's go. Let's see how it's getting it bound up on. It's too snug of a fit. Huh. Now it's lined up, and let's see. Huh. Interesting. So maybe I don't have it. Let me get back to you. Let me get some help holding this so it doesn't pull away when I take it off. Okay, so got it bolted in, and so I'm not sure if maybe I'm gonna try to be straight in the hole. Maybe I was off a little bit, and so maybe that's why it was a little rough to get in, but I got it to butt up like this, and then I just put some screws on and just kept tightening all the way around until it buttoned up. Okay, so my first seal I drove in with this right here. The problem is I drove it in too far, and it didn't stop flush with this. So that is a mistake I made. So I take the seal out, and I saw another YouTuber use a pipe like this. Just stick it over like that, and it'll sit it flush. You know, and that costed me, I think, less than 10 bucks or something. And you know, and it sits it flush pretty good. Even had to do it with that seal too. So, but yeah, just want to kind of bring that trick in. Now when we go ahead and think when we mount this on the 8-speed, is I'm not going to put the bushings in the holes that I drilled out, right? What I'm going to do is put it in, because it was kind of tough to get it to fit when I had the bushings in, right? Just here in the garage. So what I'm going to do is when I put it, I'm going to put it in without the bushings and not stick it in all the way, just enough to where, you know, these are sticking through the back side of the transmission. And then I'll stick the bushings in. I'll get like a bottom one, a top one, and then kind of get those set and then get the rest in. I'm going to try it that way, because trying to maneuver it up inside there with that other cross member down the middle, it's going to be kind of challenging. So that's how I'm going to do it, but I'll show you guys that. But the seal driver, there we go.
For me to conclude this video, I do not have the video of me installing it, but pretty much how I did it, how I explained it, how I installed it. It did work, but it was tough, really tough to get in. And as I'm, you know, replacing these seals, those are things that you might as well do too, because it's going to be it's a lot of work to change them. So you might as well change all the seals on the front side, the back side, you know, even on the what is it, the tail shaft, the housing. You might as well do it then. But we did get it in, and it all works great. So, and that's it. In the next video, we'll talk about the drive shaft and the pinion angle and how I got that set, and if I had to replace the drive shaft or not. All right, guys. See you later.